Hello. I would like to introduce myself and talk a little bit about the purpose of this I Am Trecena support group, which is aimed to support people who have some kind of mental disorder like bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, or something similar in the nature. My name is Zoran Sholaya. I am 52 years old and I have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder approximately 10 years ago. And now I don't have any symptoms of these conditions whatsoever. During these 10 years, my life was very difficult, and I have found a way out of this condition or any condition which is related to what we label mental disorders. The purpose of this group is actually to share this knowledge so that other people can replicate this in their daily life and live normal, beautiful life without any sort of mental disorders. I would like to tell something about myself, how I am arrived at a point where I am now, and then talk about how this group can be beneficial to you, what is the purpose of the group, and talks other things in that nature. So, who am I? If you would like to tell that I describe myself as academic achievements, then I am an electrical engineer. I'm also a computer scientist and I have an MBA. So I have 3 master's degrees. I have worked as a computer specialist, IT manager for a number of years. I lived in Europe, also in US, in Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. And I am married and I have 4 kids. I'm 52 years old. I have also experienced a bankruptcy, a failed business venture. And in the darkest part of my life, I also contemplated suicide, and I was hospitalized several times with my bipolar disorder. And this part of my life was very difficult, not very pleasant, where I learned that a classical medicine treatments do not really help with mental disorders. And since my life was really a hell, I was very motivated to find alternative way, which it took about 10 years to develop. And if I add my spiritual journey, then I can tell that 17 years of struggle, research and work led to this method, which can be experienced as little as 1.5 hours for those who are willing to try it. Okay. Now, any kind of mental disorder is directly related to how one's conduct its life and how one use the most precious things which we have, and this is our brain. The root cause of any mental disorder is imbalance of how the energy flows in your system. And once you know this, then you can address this imbalance and simply rebalance your internal system. It is very important to understand that the brain is an electromagnetic phenomenon where there are certain neurons and things which are firing, and there are electrical currents which are flowing through your brain. And wherever there is an electrical current, there is also a magnetic field. And these electrical currents and magnetic fields are influencing how your endocrinal system works. And this electromagnetic information is physically translated to chemical signals, which is then flowing into your body. Any mental disorder is directly related to overuse of part of your mental and physical system, which puts your body into imbalance. And this imbalance is either reflected as a mental disorder, physical disorder, or some kind of unpleasant life situation in your life. Once this is known, then it is very liberating, because the root cause can be really addressed in easy fashion, and this is that you just consciously look at how your system works. You detect where the imbalances are, and if you have an efficient tool to address and correct these imbalances, you put yourself in the alignment with your natural state of being, which is health, and then things settle down by itself. Once this is achieved, all you have to do afterwards is take care of your system and develop a habit of new way of thinking, which I coined art of conscious thinking, or art of conscious living. So this is the premise. The premise of coaching is that everybody has already answers to all questions which one is seeking. Because unless you are able to ask questions, you are not able to find a solution. So ask a questions, and solution is embedded already in that question. So coaching is a process like when you're making a statue out of a piece of wood. Statue is actually a process of removing excess wood so that you can actually see the statue which was already existing in a piece of wood which you are carving. And the clean language is something like a chisel in your hand, where you gradually chisel out unwanted pieces of your statue until you discover the statue which has been already existing all the time in the piece of wood which you are carving. You are that piece of wood. So you simply chisel out the unwanted things, and you are then presented with a beautiful carving of the statue of your liking. So how did I develop this bipolar disorder? Technically, you have some kind of a stressful event in your life, some trigger situation happens, and you go into a balanced state. In my case, I had a stressful event related to the finances and some family issues, and I end up in the hospital. Despite being very educated, very smart and intelligent, I actually end up ruining my family finances and ending up in a nut house just because I didn't know how to use all parts of my body-mind system. I was very well trained how to use the left logical part of the system, but that has nothing to do with your emotional part and your creative part of the system. And if you want to be healthy, you had to have a correct balance between your right, left, and co-hemisphere in the mind. Once this is achieved, you have to have a balance with your emotional center in the heart and the source of information, which is in your gut. So you basically have three energy centers in your body: your mind, your heart, and your belly, where the energy is coming from. Once this is put into harmony, then the whole system is in harmony. Hence, you feel better. Once you feel better, you think better. When you think better, you act better. Hence, you manifest correct and beneficial circumstances in your outer life. Coaching, or a clean language, is addressing things beyond feeling, which is your belief system, which is your paradigm, how you look at the world, and which is your awareness, where and how you're placing awareness. You can think of thoughts like the bank of a river. You can think of your emotions like the water flowing to the river, and you think of your thoughts like fishes which are floating or swimming in this water. So, how the water flows in the river is a function of a river, which is your belief systems. If your riverbank is wide and shallow, the river will flow nicely, and certain kind of fish will live in the water, which is shallow and slow flowing. If, however, your riverbank is very narrow and deep, your water will be turbulent and different kind of fish will be there. So, if you want to change the results in your life, you have to change the structures of your belief system. And your belief system is function of word paradigm, which means how you look at the world. And there are two word paradigms, basic paradigm. Either I'm a victim or I am creator. 95% of the people use the first paradigm. I'm a victim and something simply happens to me because of something. For instance, I have a bipolar disorder because I have a genetic disposition and hence I have it. It's not my fault. Or I have a bipolar disorder because I was an unsuccessful businessman. Or I have a bipolar disorder because of stressful situations which I had. There is some kind of excuse, but it's not my fault. And if you are there, you're simply stuck in that part of the brain which is constantly stimulating part of your system, which is simulating the flight or fight response in your endocrine systems, and you end up with some kind of a disease. And this is situations where you are not at ease. So, if you want to remedy yourself, you want to put yourself at ease, and at ease you need to engage another part of your brain which is counterbalancing this overused part of the brain. Once you do that, you are putting yourself in the balance, and then you can start creating. Your brain is like a wasp, like in a beehive you have a wasp, and your attention is like a candle. And once you put a candle close to the wasp, the longer you put candle there, the wasp is being heated, and once he's heated enough, then it becomes malleable. You then, when it's malleable, you shape it to your liking. You remove the candle, wait until it dried out, and then it becomes hard again. So you shape your brain by the light of your conscious attention. This is why it's important to know where and how you're placing your attention. So, in essence, you create two lists. You create a list of negative things in your life, and there you want to remove these things in the session, in the clean language session. So you remove all these blocks which you don't want. Then you develop a desired state list where you design your life how you want it, and then you do this same process, but on a right part of the brain, where you reshape your brain in a wanted desired states. And once you wake up after the session, you physically have your brain rewired differently. Because it's rewired differently, you look at the world differently. Your word paradigm has changed. Because your paradigm is changed, your belief system is different. Because your belief system is different, you feel different. Because you feel different, you have a different type of thoughts. Because you have a different type of thoughts, you act differently. And hence, at the end of the enchilada is that you have different results in your outer surroundings. So, you can either be a victim and continue living as you live now with medications and frustrations, or you can become a creator, be brave enough to start walking on this journey. And it's like climbing the hill. There are many ways how you can climb the hill, but once you're on the top of the hill, then you have the same view as everybody else. Although the view is the same on top of the hill, depending on where you place your attentions, you will experience different aspects of that view, and this is a conscious creation of your life. So for instance, if you have a bipolar disorder or your depression, you don't want to have it. When you don't want to have it, you just get rid of the problem, but you still did not create anything. So that's why you need to go one step further and ask yourself, what do I really desire? And once you know that, you have to translate this into the language of your mind and your body so that they can understand this thing. And your mind and your body speaks in terms of feelings, and also have a modalities. Have a modality of smell, have a modality of sight, have a modality of thought, have a modality of hearing, have a modality of taste, have a modality of touch. And also there is a modality of sense of directions where you want to go. So you have what you want or don't want. You go to the feeling, you develop those feelings in these 5 modalities, you wrap this out in some kind of form of symbol, and once you have a symbol, you place this physically somewhere in a sensation in your body, and you are done. After that, you only need to water that sensation in terms of your attention and a mood, and it will gradually develop from a little seed to the big tree over the time. Now, as far as time is concerned, whenever you want to develop a new skills, you need to repeat this behavioral pattern several times, several days, until it gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. And you have to know that the minimum time for permanent engravement on any new behavioral pattern in the brain is 1 moon cycle. Because as moon is rotating around the Earth, it's exposing the Earth to a different magnetic field. And because in your brain you have electromagnetic field, and in your heart you have electromagnetic field, if you expose a new behavior in all of these magnetic fields, then you are engraving this in a correct way in your subconscious mind. And once you do this, you're basically done. You have new operating system in your smartphone, and you put their desired applications, and you toss out all of these unwanted things. In my case, I had to toss out low self-esteem application. I had to toss out I'm not good enough applications. I have to toss out I'm irritated by my wife situation. I have to toss out all of kind of limitations which I have. And once I clean all of this, then I have put what I desire. And now I desire to help other people create that life consciously, and now I am living my desired life. Before that, I was living subconsciously the life of my parents, because I was exposed to their subconscious thinking or epigenetic codes, which you are exposed to in early childhood, adolescent, and you basically end up subconsciously living somebody else's life, not yours life. This is now akin to a butterfly who is in a cocoon, and once in a cocoon you basically have to dissolve your old thinking patterns and put the new thinking patterns, unless they are engraved in the subconscious mind. This is akin of a butterfly standing on the old shell and trying to develop the wings. Once you have that, then you simply go off and fly on the new flower of your choice, where you can sip the nectar, make love with other butterflies, and off you go. This is the purpose of that group, of this group, to give you new understanding, because if you have new understanding, you are at the place of choice. If you are place of choice, you can consciously choose a new directions, and once you do this thing, then you're on a journey, and if you do the steps along the journey at the pace of your liking, you will end up where you are heading. It is a kind of situations that you are in the wood is dark, and you cannot see the path which leads out of the wood. If you engage yourself in a clean language session, which is an operations which is removing unwanted things from your subconscious mind and installing desired things, where you basically connect your conscious and subconscious mind in a single sessions, and it is a partnership. You are your subconscious mind and I am your conscious mind, and with the sessions I am consciously guiding your attentions to the place where is the most likelihood that you will create the answers to the questions you are looking for. Hence, it's a partnership. I am responsible for the process in your mind, and you are responsible to the content of your mind. You find out what you don't want, you desire to remove this, you remove what you don't want, then you construct what you want, and we put together the new programming in your mind. You have to know that if you have this free functional part of your brain, but physically your limitations are in the center of your brain where you have your reptilian brain. And this reptilian brain works in the resource mode. It's fight or flight. So whenever you have any kind of relationship as a resource, you suffer and you are linked in a circular movement of your left brain. You want to remove that program, and you have to pass through the mammalian brain where you have feelings, and where you have this inner voice which is always criticizing and having all kind of excuses not to change the status quo, which is survival mechanism. Once you pass through this and put your new relationships into neurocortex, which is outside of your brain, then you are transformed on the spot. You may have a problem, let's say 13 years, 15 years, and after several clean language coaches, if you move this problem from the center of your brain, you pass through the middle part of your brain and you end up in the neocortex, you have a new relationship to your problems. New relationship means that you have a new outlook of your problems. New outlook responds with a new word paradigm, and this is governed by your conscious attention. Conscious attention, word paradigm, belief systems determines your feelings determines your thoughts determines your behavior, and your behavior is then crystallized in external circumstances. So, long story short, you can experience a rapid change if you have understanding of the process. Second, you are willing to go to the process. And third, after you maintain and engrave this as a new habit in your subconscious mind, and then off you go to your new life. It's akin on the process of riding a bike. If you have not seen the bike, then you don't know that you don't know how to ride a bike. So you're in the state of unconscious ignorance. You don't know that you don't know. Then you see someone who is riding the bike. Now you are consciously ignorant. You know that you don't know how to ride a bike, but you are also at a place of choice. You can be a fool and come back to the not knowing to ride a bike, or you can be wise and be brave enough to try something new. Once you do this, you enter a conscious knowing, where you consciously are learning how to ride the bike, and after a certain period of time, you come to the fourth stage, where you have unconscious knowledge of your new skills, and hence when you know unconsciously how to ride a bike, then you can be engaged in Tour de France, and then you can be a racer. Before that, you can't do these things. So, once you are a member of this group, you will be exposed to the new knowledge. and you have a courage to go to the process and you do your parts, the results are guaranteed. It is like flipping a switch on your on your radio. You press the switch and there is a music there. You don't press the switch, there is no music there. Now, what kind of a music you are going to hear in your radio set or your TV set is the function of the channel you're pressing there. So what we are doing, we are putting a proper channel of what you want there, and that music you experience. Do you have to create that music? No, the music is already created. Somebody created this already in the radio channel. You don't need to create all of these things. Similarly, you don't need to create the power stations and the grid and everything for your electricity. You just need to flip the switch. So you are being exposed in the art of flipping the switch of your systems. It's akin on playing of the instrument. So you are basically learning how to play your own instrument, your body, your mind, your emotions, your belief systems, your thoughts and everything. You learn these new skills. It's not very difficult. It just requires understanding, will to go to the process and doing it. You can pick your pace. You can pick your topic. You can pick your time. You pick your directions. And if you go these directions, the results are guaranteed. To me, it's appalling to see that 10% of US populations are exposed to some kind of antidepressant. I mean, it's 300 million people living in US, 10%, which means that 30 million people are depressed. Only because they are not aware how the body-mind-soul system works. 3% of US populations have a bipolar disorder, which is a bear. I have it. Typically, you get this bipolar disorder either if you are 13, puberty, chemistry change, or if you are around 40, when you have a middle-age crisis. Now, doctors will tell you that your bipolar disorder is functions of chemical imbalance. This is true, but partly true. They're not telling you what is the cause of chemical balance. And the cause of a chemical balance is how you use, i.e., how you misuse your body-mind systems. Once you know this, then you can change your balance gradually over time, and which will lead you up in a different chemistry. Hence, you then with your doctors change the medications, and after a time, you are med free. Okay. In my case, I have tried all kind of medications. It was Zyprexa, it was Depakine, Depakot, Ziprosidone, it was all kind of things. Now, I'm using from time to time a little amount of Zyprexa, which is, according to the doctors, totally unfunctional. I mean, I take a half of a tablet from time to time, not to cure myself, but that my wife are feeling safe when she is thinking that I'm a manic. But I'm not manic anymore. I'm just simply enthusiastic about the things I like to do, which is help other people help themselves. This video was maybe a little bit out of the order, but it's genuine. I mean, I'm trying to pass the message that there is way out of your condition. And if you want to get out of your conditions, you really need to change the way how you behave. And in order to change the way how you behave, you need to change the way how you feel. In order to change how you have to feel, you need to change your belief systems. In order to change your belief systems, you need to adapt new world paradigm. And in order to adapt new world paradigm, you need to train your conscious intentions to flow in different directions. More on the left and the center than in the more on the right and the center